You guys, welcome back to the channel once more. Kyle Laveo. Really no intro needed. Just don't forget to hit the subscribe button, share the knowledge, share the video. Shout out to All Agent Dilemmas. It's actually good that they actually don't do all their focus on China. We're going to jump to Korea of the collapse. And pretty much what's happening in Korea is really no different than what's going on in any other first world country or nation. But let's tune in and see what's going on, shall we?
50 couples will have just 37 children. By the third generation, only 14 remain. By the fourth, 5. And by the fifth generation, just 1. In about 100 years, the country's population will shrink to just 1% of what it is today. That's
Wow.
the real horror behind this number. A functioning society needs at least 2.1 births per woman. Even Elon Musk tweeted about this for 3 days straight, expressing concern over South Korea.
Why the hell would he care? Why would a billionaire care about another country's population crisis? That I don't understand, unless it affects the way it's going to cause him to make more money. So that's a scam right there. Anytime a billionaire, a guy in the top 1% is concerned about another country's issues, it's behind money.
Today, the country has around 50 million people, but in 2024, only 238,300 babies were born. It's no exaggeration to say that Korea is heading toward a complete societal collapse. And the most ironic part? This is the result of decades of government attempts to prevent this exact outcome. Since 2005, the country has had a presidential committee dedicated to low birth rates and aging.
Wow, 2005. So it's 2025. That's 20 years right there. I was just finishing high school. My, how time flies by. And I still look good.
Over the years, they've poured hundreds of billions of dollars into incentives. Each child can receive up to 100 million won in benefits, which is around $72,000 USD. But despite all that generosity, Koreans still refuse to have children. People have realized something fundamental. In this country, neither they nor their children are treated as actual human beings.
You see that right there? You see that guy looking out the window on the phone? Business? Korea is all about business. America, all about business. China, all about business. The most top thriving countries with money is all business related. So these guys are working 12 to 15 hours a day. They don't have time to be a family man and be about their business at the same time. You're going to choose either one or the other. You're either going to be broke with a family or you're going to be elite businessmen. The choice is yours.
Their only value is to serve the elites living in luxury neighborhoods like Gangnam and Seoul. For the poor, having a child means sentencing them to a life of labor, anxiety, and poverty.
Sounds like America, doesn't it? So what's the difference between the language barrier?
That's why not having children has become an act of compassion. These cash incentives are nothing but bait. Today, the government gives you $70,000. Tomorrow, they'll squeeze $700,000 out of your children. And if you've watched Korean films, you've probably noticed something: they always revolve around suffering, inequality, and despair. Parasite, Squid Game, all global hits.
I choose to be on this side because I'm a sucker for gourmet food. I'm a foodie. So I wear the suit, eat the food, and drink the wine. F it.
Because reality is too suffocating, and movies are the only escape. Economically, South Korea is controlled by chaebols, massive family-run conglomerates. The top 10 chaebols generate over 80% of the country's GDP, but only hire 5% of the population. That means 5% of people hold most of the wealth, while the other 95% fight over the scraps. To escape this system, there are only two ways: join the government and serve the chaebols, or get hired by one of them. And the only way to do that is by graduating from one of the elite SKY universities, Seoul National, Korea University, or Yonsei.
So there's three ways to do things. You're either going to do it their way, you're going to do it your way, or you're going to do it the wrong way. And a lot of people are going to choose to do it their way. A lot of people rather run the rat race rather than become an elite.
But out of the 500,000 students who take the college entrance exam every year, only 2% get in.
Wow.
That pushes Korean youth into extreme academic competition. In Gangnam, there's an entire district called Cram School Street with over 1,600 hagwons packed into one area. It's nicknamed the Jerusalem of Test Prep. Nationwide, there are more than 24,000 hagwons, and this industry alone makes up 1% of the national GDP. Kids study high school content while still in elementary school. Studying 16 hours a day has become the norm.
16 hours a day? Just studying. Not making no money. That's bullshit. And these guys are all young. And why do they all look the same with that same haircut? It's like they look miserable. You could just see what their life persists as. It's like no life. Like it's hella dark.
And parents spend up to 1/3 of their household income on private education. Back in 2013, raising a child to age 18 already cost an average of $230,000, double the cost in Japan or the US.
Whoa. So it costs more there than America? Wow, that's crazy, man. But at the same time, you have to remember, most families in America receive some kind of government assistance. Even if they're both both parents are working regular jobs. But in this day and age, most households, it's only one person that's the breadwinner in the family now, and that's normal in America now. And it's just wild though.
And it doesn't stop there. Every Korean male is still required to serve in the military.
Whoa.
The country maintains over 600,000 active soldiers and more than 3 million in reserves. On paper, South Korea's income doesn't seem so bad. In 2022, the national income per capita reached 42 million won,
Whoa.
about $31,000 USD, or $2,600 per month. But housing prices are out of control. Over the past 5 years, real estate prices in Korea have nearly doubled.
Now, most of those buildings you see in the background, those are quote unquote luxury condos. Have you noticed how everything is luxury now? Because they're making everything luxury and upgrading it from 1960s type looks to now, which is luxe. The cheap ass vinyl flooring and the cheap ass office cabinets they use as kitchen cabinets and stainless steel appliances. That's how you pretty much make something luxury. Everything's luxury because of the cost of living. So when you make something luxury, it accommodates for the high price, which is still bullshit. So the average person or average family won't be able to acquire real estate unless it's passed on or their trust fund baby. Because regular jobs just aren't enough anymore. Let's just be real.
The average apartment in Seoul now costs around $700,000 USD. And here's the thing. In the US, you can leave cities like New York or LA and still find something affordable. But in Korea,
yeah, you can find something affordable, but it's probably full of mold, roaches, and rats. So it's affordable, but your health is going to take a significant decline. So you're pretty much sacrificing your health.
1/3 of the population is stuck in the Seoul metro area. There's nowhere else to go. This creates massive inequality. In 2022, the wealthiest households in Korea had 64 times more assets than the poorest. There are more than 100,000 millionaires in Korea, twice as many as in Dubai. Most of them live in Gangnam. So how does a country with limited resources and a fragile economy have so many rich people? By extracting wealth from the lower classes, directly or indirectly. Even those who manage to buy a home become mortgage slaves, struggling with debt for decades.
America, see, it's the same issue. It's no different there. So if you left America to go live in Korea, you're going to have the same problems. If anything, it'll be magnified times 10. So they're saying you could still afford something decent in America versus over there. You're just priced out completely. But then the same thing is happening here. Everybody's living off of credit and debt. They'll pay off the debt just to get in debt again. You paid off the car just to buy another car. You paid off the house and you turned around and bought a vacation home in the Hamptons. So it's like people are so obsessed with leaving behind a legacy to their children when really they're leaving behind more liabilities than they are. It's like their children aren't going to be comfortable when their parents pass on because they're going to have to still owe and pay money and pay off what their parents didn't pay. So technically, it's just a bunch of bullshit. And that's why you have these digital nomads and these expats going to cheaper places like Vietnam and the Philippines. Those are probably the cheapest places to live that are thriving right now. So there's 2 Koreans I work with. They're in their 40s. 1 man and 1 woman. Neither one of them want kids or marriage. The dude said that women today are trash. And the woman, I don't know what her problem is. She just doesn't look for marriage or anything. I don't know. And she's trying to buy a house too, so.
To survive, Koreans have become some of the most overworked people on the planet.
Whoa.
In 2022, they worked an average of 1,901 hours.
Do you see these huts? I couldn't tell. At first I thought that was the front door, but that's a refrigerator. Jeez. The slums in China don't even look that bad.
Nearly double the hours in Germany. Gender tension makes it worse. You might remember the scandal where Korean men lost their minds over a simple hand gesture. Radical feminism in Korea promotes hatred toward all men, even fathers and sons.
Ooh-wee.
They launched the 4 No's movement. No dating, no relationships, no marriage, no children.
What do you do for companionship? Oh, we'll just go to the red light district for fun, that's all. Fuck it.
In response, many men abandoned all sense of responsibility. They detached completely, no commitment, no future. With all this happening, people not only refuse to have kids, many don't even want to live anymore.
Whoa.
South Korea has topped global suicide rankings for years. In 2023, about 40 people per day died by suicide. More than 10,000 were men, more than twice the number of women. The core reason: economic despair.
Work or die. That's pretty much the only choices you have there. And, like I said, how is this any different in the West? You have to work.
And if we look back at history, the pattern is clear. When economies collapse, people stop having children. In ancient times, the poor left no descendants. The people alive today are mostly descendants of the wealthy or the powerful. The poor were wiped out in wars, famines, invasions. Even the few who survived eventually disappeared. Today, young Koreans are rejecting marriage and parenthood. They're resisting the system built by the chaebols in the only way they can, by refusing to continue it. The poor fight each other, the elites profit. And unless the root of the problem is addressed, South Korea's 0.75 fertility rate will lead the country straight into extinction within 5 generations.
I mean, look at it this way. In today's generation, the working man, which is going to work 12 to 15 hours like these men, these elite men you see in the videos, right? They don't want to come home just to be bitched at by their wives. They done worked all day. They don't want to hear no drama or nothing. They just want to come home and go to sleep. I mean, you don't even have enough energy to do anything with your wife physically. So that's why a lot of these guys go to KTV bars and get sucked off and shit in the private room. Because they're going to want to do all that before they head home. Because by the time they head home, they're going to be too tired to do anything. So why they go out and socialize with their bosses and other colleagues, why not do it all in one place?
To be honest with you, I believe in meritocracy. But in South Korea, that dream is impossible. And even here in America, it's getting harder and harder to go from nothing to truly wealthy.